Hello, everyone. Welcome to another edition of the 3X Value Growth Podcast. My name is Carrie Sauls, coming to you as always from New Hampshire. The trivia I have for today is that as one of the 13 original colonies, New Hampshire was the first state to declare its independence from Mother England, a full 6 months before the Declaration of Independence was signed. Today, I'm joined by Dustin of JED Insurance. First, welcome, John.
Carrie, it's a pleasure to be here, and I hope the listeners get a lot of value.
That's what we're looking for. Perfect answer, John. Exactly. Thank you for joining us. For those of you who don't know John, he is very much in demand, and I'm so fortunate that he had the time and he agreed to this interview. John is a lifelong learner. His commitment and passion for the insurance industry is demonstrated by his 31 years in the industry, going on 18 years owning his own business. Today, his topic is risk-free. So the challenge is that he's going to answer 7 questions in 7 minutes on the topic of being risk-free. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Okay. Countdown here. Great. The first question I have for you is, who's your ideal client, John?
Well, I think the ideal client for us is a business that understands that we want to partner with them. They have a nice attitude, and they want a full commitment around a lot of additional information and services. Not big or small, just want to understand risk and want to implement a program.
Perfect. What problem are you trying to solve for those people?
So we don't have a specific manuscript product or program or an independent insurance agency. And what I try to do is a ground-up evaluation of all of their exposures: credit cards, cyber, sexual harassment, wrongful termination, building coverage, workers' comp. Big or small, all business entrepreneurs are faced with very similar risks, albeit on a different scale.
When you're talking about all of those, doesn't it get overwhelming or confusing when you're trying to address all of those at the same time?
Well, not really, because the way we do it is I gather a lot of information. I'm a detective, and I go in and I don't discuss coverages, proposals until I take all the information in. Once I get all the information, I give almost a menu suggesting different things, and I let the actual consumer decide what risk they want to self-insure, maybe partially insure with large deductibles, or insure from the ground up with a program.
Got it. We're 1 minute, 30 seconds in. Your third question. What are the typical symptoms of these risks that people, clients, businesses are experiencing or that they might be talking about?
Well, that's an interesting question, Carrie, because I think a lot of times they're unaware of the exposures that face them. Now, they could be having problems, whether it's a fidelity problem with employee dishonesty that gets uncovered, whether they've signed a contract and they're unaware that they're contractually obligated to something over the internet through cyber privacy information that they're holding. So a lot of times it's our job to uncover that stone that they're not even aware of.
So when you come back and you've done that diagnosis, are you sometimes surprising clients?
A lot of times they're either unaware or they've not even elected to make a conscious decision. So that by that I mean they might have heard of something but never explored it.
Definitely. We're down to 2 minutes and 41 seconds. Fourth question. What are the most common mistakes that you see people making when they try to address their own risk?
So a couple of quick things. They buy on price. They don't look at all of the different exposures they have. They buy a rush sale. Either they're buying a building and the closing's tomorrow, so they just buy something. And the biggest mistake I see people make is they don't partner with an agency that's going to review their stuff annually or, semi-annually, depending on their growth rate. And what happens is, just like in life, you have changes. A business changes. You might sign a new agreement with a different product. You might implement a new computer system that has a different indemnification agreement. So you may lease space, buy a building. We've had clients put a new product line out, and at least we can catch it on a review. They forget to call. So the biggest thing is whenever you implement anything, you have to monitor it, right, for change.
It sounds to me like you're saying clients need to check in with you every time that they need to check in with their banker. Because the same changes that the bank is looking for, you're looking at a different side of those exact same changes.
So hopefully they hire you and they have a very high growth rate, right? They have a high growth rate, and it's really hard within an organization to address risk without a full-time risk manager. But most small to medium businesses don't have somebody even aware of this. And usually the controller's full out doing accounting, merger stuff, HR. So that's hopefully what we bring to the table, is be part of the team, almost like an outsourced operations person to help them address all these changes.
That, to me, puts you apart from so many insurance agents who are just paper pushers.
Well, a lot of times what happens is you'll call on a risk, and the individual handling the insurance will say, "This is interesting. We haven't heard from the person since the first policy we bought." And 800 changes have occurred.
Scary, isn't it? Mm-hmm. So my fifth question, we're down to 4 minutes and 57 seconds. What's one valuable free action that audience members can implement that's going to get them started down the road to solve this problem?
I think whether it's with JED or another professional organization, they should do a complete risk analysis from the ground up. By that, I mean, don't take your existing policy and just get a quote based on the exposures on that policy. Do a ground-up analysis. Where are my shipments coming from? Where are the products imported to that we're using? What contracts do we have with our vendors? Do we have a written lease? Has the lease been reviewed for insurance? You know, all of these things can be reviewed from the ground up. A lot of times what happens is people meet a new agent and they give the exact program they have, and the new agent copies it. There's no value there.
Big difference, definitely. Okay, we're 5 minutes and 52 seconds. The sixth question, what is one valuable free resources you can direct people to that will further help them in their risk analysis? There's the first steps they should take.
Well, I think what they should do is gather all their contracts, leases, and policies, and either give an agency like ours or another risk type of agency the opportunity to review everything so that they can see where they stand. Again, put price aside in the short term and see what all the exposures are and what their various risks are within those exposures, and determine what they want to insure.
And where would they go? Do you have a landing page you could recommend they start with?
They could start by looking at our website at www.jedinsurance, all one word, .com.
JEDinsurance.com. That's great. And our seventh question, we've got 15 seconds to go, so it's a quick one. What one question should I have asked you that I haven't that you would like our listeners to know the answer to?
I think one of the important things to ask people when they're interviewing a person dealing with risk is, when am I going to hear from you? What services do you offer complimentary to selling me the policy? And, you know, they need to evaluate the culture of that person. So a lot of times people hire agents they don't like. So it's like any service you buy, a consultant, a lawyer, an accountant. If you don't like them, you're going to pick up the phone and call them. It needs to be a cultural match.
That's a really good point to end on. Thank you very much, John Dustin of JED Insurance, for joining us on the 3X Value Growth Podcast.
This was very fun. Thank you for having me.
Thanks for checking out the 3X Value Growth Podcast. If you like what we're doing here, head over to iTunes and subscribe, leave us a review, or rate us. It's very much appreciated. And if you'd like to learn more about the 3X Value Growth model, go to www.3xvaluegrowth.com/model for the PDF.